Listen, I done already told you that you don't need an LLC to start your business. Now y'all want to turn around and talk about forming multiple LLCs? Man, y'all doing way too much. And don't worry, I'm gonna show you why right after this. What up, family? It's your favorite Uncle Cousin Tyrone Gregory, the self-employed tax guy, and I am here today to do my best to show you why forming multiple LLCs may not be the best idea, especially if you're just starting your business. Yes, LLCs do have their place in the business world or they wouldn't exist, right? But there seems to be this mystical aura surrounding them because everybody's treating them like they're unicorns or something. And you know me, I've already told you that you don't need an LLC to start a business. And if you haven't watched that video, I'm gonna put the card right there and on the screen so you can tap on that and watch it after this, of course, right? But LLCs aren't necessary to achieve the goals for most. And again, yes, LLCs do have their place in the world or they wouldn't exist, right? There wouldn't be laws around them, there wouldn't be states that have them, there wouldn't be anything. They do have their place. However, especially if you're just starting a business, the multiple LLC thing may not be the route you want to go. So let me kind of explain to you why. Okay, so let me explain how this video came to be. The other day I'm here at work and I decided to take a break and pull out my phone and, get on TikTok just to take a break, which I don't recommend because once you do that, you go down the rabbit hole, right? Find something else to do while you're on your break. But anyway, so while I'm scrolling through TikTok, I happen to stumble across this video.
This is how the rich set up holding companies. So check this out. What happens is instead of having an LLC pay them directly where they pay full taxes, they'll set up an LLC and then another LLC taxed as an S Corp. So when the money comes into this LLC, either in management fees or consulting fees, they're able to split it into two pieces, distributions and a salary. And what that does is it saves them self-employment tax. Remember, tax avoidance is not tax evasion. Keep educating, be good to future you.
Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not hating, not at all. As a matter of fact, I think he did an excellent job explaining the benefits of such a structure in about, I think the video was like 30 seconds. Again, not hating, I think he did an excellent job in explaining it. However, like he said in the video, that type of setup is for the wealthy. Key word there, wealthy, the rich, people with money.
This is how the rich set up holding companies.
So unless you just so happen to have a gang of money laying around or a bunch of money that you can just throw at a business, then that structure may not be the best for you. All right, so what's the point of such a structure? So to explain this, what I've done, and I have to give credit to my wife, my handwriting isn't this neat, I recreated the whiteboard drawing that he had on his video so we can kind of go through and break down the point, or at least from what he explained in the video, why this structure exists, right? So, we still got money here on the board. We're just gonna throw money away. All right, so what is we saw in the video, we have 3 LLCs. And one LLC is being taxed as an S Corp, which is going to be, say, the holding company. And as he explained in the video, the goal is to save money on your self-employment taxes through your business operations, because as a sole proprietor, that is the biggest tax probably that you'll pay is the self-employment tax. So to reduce that, here is a strategy that's being incorporated by the wealthy. You'll have an LLC set up to bring in income, another LLC set up to bring in income. But because LLCs by themselves are pass-through entities, all of the income coming into these LLCs are simply going into one LLC, which is then being taxed as an S Corp. And from the S Corp, you as the owner are now getting paid through your W-2 salary or distributions. But because we're paying some of your salary via W-2 and it remain on the distribution, it eliminates some of the cost for the self-employment tax, right? Because you're only going to pay Social Security and Medicare, which is the self-employment tax. You're only going to pay that on the W-2 salary. You don't pay it on the distribution. However, and here is why your favorite uncle cousin is trying to tell you that if you're just starting your business, this may not be the route you want to go. I get it. As young entrepreneurs, you have multiple ideas. All these things are in your head, keeping you up at night. And you want to be like, I want to put all of my ideas out there at once. So I want to form these multiple LLCs so I can have everything operating and get going. Maybe great idea, maybe not. And here's what I want to show you why. Because when you do this, first of all, note that when you're just starting out as a new entrepreneur, you have very limited resources, right? That's why a lot of entrepreneurs, they seek additional capital through investors, through venture capitalists, through angel capitalists. They seek a capital because on your own, your resources are limited. So your goal as a starting entrepreneur is to not frivolously waste those resources. And this type of startup, especially when you're just beginning, is not going to be wise. And here's why. Because one thing, well, there's three things you have to consider for each structure. There is the operations cost, right? So OPR put here for operation. There's the admin cost for that. And you can see the difference between my handwriting and my wife's. And then there is the taxes cost. And this happens on each one, right? You have operations here, admin costs here, and then you also have taxes costs here. And guess what? You also have it here. You have operations here. You have admin here, right? And you have taxes here. And the taxes is not necessarily the income tax, right? Because that's what we're trying to avoid, reducing taxes. But in some LLCs, has to pay what's called a franchise tax fee. And that's for simply being labeled an LLC. You have to be able to pay that tax. So if you're paying this, right, somebody has to operate this particular entity on its own. Somebody has to operate this particular entity on its own. Then this one here, especially being taxed as an S Corp, somebody has to operate that. And that's the same for the administration. Somebody has to administer this LLC. Somebody has to administer this LLC. Somebody has to administer this one here that's being taxed as an S Corp. And if it's just you, is it possible? Absolutely. But you think about operating and administrating three different entities. That's going to be a challenge. Again, time is another one of your resources that you really don't have much of once you become an entrepreneur. People have this misconception that, hey, I'm going to leave my 9 to 5 and I'm going to have a 4-hour work week. No, not going to happen, right? Once you become an entrepreneur, that in the beginning, I'm going to say in the beginning, because it's possible to get to that 4-hour work week. But in the beginning, Genesis 1:1, right? That 4-hour work week ain't happening. It's going to be a 400-hour work week when you're just beginning. So something to consider, okay? And the easiest thing to do, and here's why, again, that was pretty much the basis of it. That's why you don't want multiple LLCs, generally because of the operations, the administration, and the taxes for all three entities. That's why you don't want it. I can really end the video there, but I wanted to say this. If, and that's a big if, you are at the point where it makes sense and you're making a lot of profit as an entrepreneur and you are saying, hey, my self-employment taxes are getting pretty up there, I would like to save money, you can, the simplest thing for you to do, in all honesty, don't form multiple LLCs. Don't do none of this. if you are at the point, and I say if, because really, let me make some room here. This particular structure, this one here, right? Again, we're going to ignore these. We're not going to form these entities. That's what we're not going to do. We're going to get rid of this. We're going to get rid of this, and we're going to keep this one, because with this one alone, this one by itself can still save you self-employment taxes. Just with this one, you don't need these additional. Okay. Again, this is what the wealthy do, because they got money to throw at businesses just to, I don't know, look sexy, maybe be mystical. I'm not quite sure why I do this. Right. And again, I guess when you get a lot of money, when you get wealthy, when you finally get to that point, there are some specific strategies where this makes sense. But when you're just starting, no. However, if you're at the point where you are profiting, keyword, profiting, okay, 100,000 or more, so 100,000 plus. If your net profit is this number right here, then let's go ahead and set that up. Okay, simple as that. However, if you aren't here yet, if you aren't net profiting, not the gross, keyword here, net profit. Okay, that means after all of your expenses have been subtracted from your earnings, if what you're seeing is close to this number, then yes, it makes sense to go ahead and do this type of operation. Get an LLC, have it be taxed as an S Corp, and that will save you on your self-employment taxes. Okay, but again, it only makes sense once you get to a certain profit level. And the reason is because, like we said here, there's operation costs, there's administration costs, there's taxes to be paid. So what you have to ask yourself, which is why your favorite uncle cousin always say, run them numbers, is the amount that I'm saving, right, in self-employment tax, is that amount going to be greater than the amount that is going to cost me for this setup? Because if the savings is greater than the amount of the cost of the operations, then it's worth it. However, on the reverse, if this number here for all of this, if this cost here is greater than your savings, it's not saving you anything. It's actually doing the reverse. It's costing you. So that's why you really don't want to have this setup, because the goal is to save money. And you can easily, without knowing, without paying attention, erode your savings by adding these multiple little things, which really is not going to do anything for you, but make you look like you have multiple businesses, and maybe it'll get you some social currency. But outside of that, it is not going to do anything for you. Alrighty, fam, there you have it. Hopefully, your favorite uncle cousin has just saved you a ton of frustration, a ton of time, and a ton of money by showing you why you don't need multiple LLCs. Yes, it looks good. Yes, it sounds good. But if you run the numbers, you will see that it may not be the best for you, which is another reason why you need to run them numbers. You know what I'm saying? But that's it for me. Really just wanted to come on here, saw the video. Again, not hating, excellent. It does work for those who are wealthy, like he said in the video. So again, if you got money to throw at the business, then by all means, handle your business, do what you do. But if not, and you reach over that certain goal of $100,000 or more in net profits, then yes, consider forming an S Corp so you can save yourself some money on some self-employment tax. But if not, if you're just getting started, do things the easy way, man. Just use your resources, or I can say maximize your resources. Don't just spend money frivolously talking about I'm investing in the business. That makes no sense. Just because you can write it off don't necessarily mean you should spend it. You need to consider cash flow. And I could go in. Anyway, that's it for me. I appreciate y'all, man. If you got value from this video, you know what to do. Make sure that you take a few seconds out, hit that subscribe button, hit the bell icon, give us a thumbs up, because there's a lot more videos coming your way. And if you have any questions, please hit me up in the comments. I'd love to know what your thoughts. And until the next one, know that I love you, and I'll see you later.
Perfect. Perfect.